What's going on, guys? It's Elias. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be covering the 5 things you must do if you own a Civic Type R and you're going to take it out to the track a lot. Now, if you're going to take it to the track occasionally here and there, you probably don't need these mods. The Type R is amazing as it is, but I'm talking about specifically cooling mods, because these cars, the biggest Achilles heel, well, there's two, is weak transmission synchros. They're just weak. I'm looking for a solution to that for the future, so when mine go, I'm going to go ahead and replace them with stronger ones, and we'll cover that when we get there. But the second one, and everyone knows this, is that they overheat at the track. So obviously if you're driving around in the hot summer days, you'll feel a little bit of a loss of power. It's not a big deal. But if you're at a track day, a really hot track day, you're running the car over and over, lap after lap, 20-minute session, 30-minute session. After about 10 to 15 minutes, the engine bay has completely heat soaked and you're losing power. You may even get a warning light of it overheating. So these are the mitigating steps that you should take. So 5 mitigating steps that you need to take to fix the issue. Let's go ahead and go through them. Now, I've already covered this in a lot of other videos, but in case you guys aren't subscribers, and a shocking 90 to 95% of you guys are not subscribers that watch the videos, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps me out, guys. But I'll cover quickly what causes the heat issues. One, it's the water-cooled exhaust gas manifold. So this is the exhaust manifold here. It's integrated to the block, and this is cooled by radiator fluid. So that is going to really increase temperatures really quickly of your radiator fluid. So you want more capacity of radiator fluid, and you want more cooling capacity for that radiator fluid. The other thing is that the downpipe that sits right here, the stock downpipe, that's sitting right there. It's the catalytic converter is sitting right there, and that gets super hot. And in order to stay effective, it has to stay that hot, and it heats up everything here. I mean, hotter than you could even imagine. So when that occurs, you heat up the radiator, which is right here, sitting right here. You heat up the engine block. That pipe down there, it's called the front pipe on this car, and that's actually almost touching the sump pump. So that's where the oil is. So the oil gets hot. The transmission oil gets hot. It's right here. This is the shift linkage with the slave cylinder. It's right there. That gets super hot. I mean, the intake boxes right here get super hot. So that's where all this heat is coming from. It's because Honda was forced to do this for emissions purposes. So now that we know that, let's go ahead and go back and see the things that you need to do to improve that. So I have all the mods right here. Before I install them, I want to go through them in detail. I've already gone through them. I've unboxed them for you guys. I've shown you guys what it is. But I wanted to give you the benefits of all of these mods and why you should do these mods first before you really do anything else. I'll give them to you in the order that I recommend that you do the mods if all you're looking for is to reduce the temperature in your engine bay. So first up is, I think the most important one is the radiator, right? So the stock radiator, it's sitting over there. I'm not gonna take it out. It's thinner than this Koyo radiator. Koyo radiator has made very good radiators. I have one in my S2000. I love it. And this radiator right here is a Koyo radiator, and you can see I've already kind of put everything on there. It's ready to go into the car because it's about to go in the car. But the reason you want to go with the radiator first is because, like I said, the radiator fluid is used to cool the exhaust gases coming out of the engine. Exhaust gases being the hottest thing in the engine, right? So when you burn gasoline, it's basically a small fire. That fire is going through the exhaust manifold and being cooled by radiator fluid. So what this does is it allows you to put a little bit more radiator fluid into your system. Because this is the larger capacity radiator, it allows that to happen. It's also thicker, so more air has to pass through it in order to cool down, and it allows you to cool it quicker, right? So this cools the radiator fluid a little bit better. It is able to hold more radiator fluid, and being aluminum everywhere, it radiates more heat out, right? So the other one, the stock factory one, is plastic on the top and the bottom, and first of all, plastic can crack. Aluminum can get punctured, don't get me wrong, but plastic can crack with all the heat and heat cycles that it can get. This happens over 100,000 miles. I wouldn't worry about that too much. But what plastic doesn't do is radiate heat that well. This does. So this whole thing is made out of aluminum. So you gotta be careful when you install it. Don't puncture it, don't drop it, obviously. And it is the first thing I definitely recommend, a Koyo radiator. By the way, guys, all of the mods that I'm doing are in the description. I'll put links in the description for you guys. I'll make it nice and easy so you guys can follow along. The next thing I recommend that you do is, and again, so this is in order I would do it. You change the radiator, You don't have to do anything. There's no tuning involved. There's nothing involved in that. You can change the radiator. You can do it in your backyard. It's not that hard to do. I've explained to you guys how to take everything off in previous videos. Really, like I said, not that hard to do. Next thing I would do is, this is the stock downpipe. You can see, very heavy, kind of, actually very heavy. It's good, it's high quality, but it holds the heat inside the engine bay, right? So the engine bay, the main reason the engine bay is super hot is because this thing sits right behind the radiator. So this sits right behind the radiator here. It's kind of ridiculous. So if you stand this up, right, and the car is facing that way, right, the downpipe will be right here, and it heats this area up significantly. So that's why your next modification should be to get a downpipe. And this is the PRL downpipe. I love the PRL downpipe. Very high quality downpipe. Again, links in description. And I mean, they do a really good job. They're actually local to my state, Pennsylvania. It's a great place to go. I'm trying to get there. It's about a 2-hour drive. But one day I will visit them. For now, I'm satisfied just having their products. It's really nice. So that's the next modification I would do. Take this, I'm trying not to curse here. Take this catalytic converter out of the engine bay. It'll really reduce the engine bay temperature significantly. This is above and beyond, probably even better than the radiator, is getting this installed, right? So if you get this installed, the very next thing you have to do, and this will help you, and this is the next modification, is get it tuned. So I'm holding my K-tuner here. I love my K-tuner. There it is right there. This is the only tuner you can get for the Civic Type R with a standalone screen you can mount anywhere you want. It also allows you to install the tuner view on your screen, on your car screen, but I prefer to have a separate screen. It's got shift lights up here. We'll go over all of that stuff in another video. They've made a couple of updates I want to cover, so I'll make an update video on this, but I've covered a bunch of stuff on this. You install this, then you have to install this. You get your ECU jailbroken or cracked, and then you can go ahead and install this. And it's built in with tunes, and you can delete the catalytic converter without having any engine codes. So this is the next mod you should do. And if you want to get fancy like I am, I'm going to take it to an actual tuner. And when I go tune it, I'm going to make sure I'm not going for all out power. I'm going to go for safe, reliable power. So I'm not going to go all as high as possible. I'm aiming at 350, 360, maybe 370 horsepower, and very, very good, not lean. I want it kind of as rich as I can possibly get it. And we'll see what we can do with this K-tuner. We'll have a custom tune very soon. So for this next one, I wanted to highlight the front pipe. Now, a lot of people don't think the front pipe is really a cooling mod, and they're partially right. I mean, the front pipe is not going to do as much as the radiator and the downpipe, but the front pipe is important as well because it allows the exhaust gases to continue to flow as quickly as possible out the back. Now, the front pipe actually sits right under, which is this bend right here, the oil sump. Right, so the oil sump sits right here, and it basically almost touches the front pipe. So you want that hot air to go quickly, as fast as possible, out of the engine bay and outside the car. Let's go under the car and actually show you what I'm talking about. So this is the stock OEM front pipe that you see right here. This OEM front pipe, as you can see, this is the flex pipe. The PRL front pipe that I have has a flex pipe as well. But this right here, this is the oil. All the oil sits here, and this is a transmission. So you can see everything gets pretty hot in here. You put a cover on this, so you do want to cover this because there's two things. You want to stop the water splashing, one, and two, a flat bottom is very good for aerodynamics. And actually I have an upgrade that I'm going to put on here. You guys will see that very soon. But yes, this is the front pipe. We are replacing this, and as you can see, it is important to make sure that the air keeps on going as fast as possible that way. And then two, the next modification I'm going to talk about is wrapping everything. All right, so I'm holding my front pipe again. I just showed you guys where it goes and why it's important, but this next modification is wrapping everything in I like personally DEI heat wrap. This is the titanium version, so I don't have to wet it to install it. And if you're installing these, I definitely recommend you wrap them anyway. And it's not that hard to wrap. Again, if you're a subscriber, you already saw me wrapping these. I'm not very good at this at all. I'm not good at arts and crafts at all. And even an idiot like me was able to get this done. Decent shape. Looks pretty good if you ask me. Good enough at least. And the reason you want to make sure you wrap this is to make sure that, again, heat stays where hot stuff is. So you wrap this, the heat stays away from the oil pan, and actually the oil pan sits up here because this is where the flex pipe is. So the oil pan sits right here, and if you wrap this right here, the heat stays away from the oil pan, away from the engine, and it's one more step to take the heat away. But I also wrapped the downpipe. So let me show you that as well. I've already shown you the downpipe. And wrapping the downpipe was a pain in the butt because there's a lot of little bungs and things and connectors, and you could cover most of them up. I didn't want to because I want to reinstall the OEM heat shields that the car brings. Again, I'm doing everything possible to reduce the heat in this engine bay, and wrapping it, especially that side of it, is going to really reduce engine bay temperatures more than you would if you just left this bare. So another strategy definitely is to wrap it, and not just wrapping this, but you should also wrap the cold stuff, the stuff that's supposed to stay cold. So I've heard great things, and I do believe that this DEI gold tape, gold reflective tape, is going to help significantly in reducing intake temperatures. So this is going to be, this goes over the turbo, and this gets really hot as well. So I made sure to wrap this whole thing in gold to make sure that the hot air that's all around it stays out of this. The radiated air that's all around this stays out of this pipe, and so that the intake air stays as cool as possible. I did the same thing for the intake air box. So wrapping it is another thing you should do. Now, the final thing you should do, I think we have to get closer to the engine bay. So getting closer to the engine bay here, there's two things I'm actually not going to be able to do this time around, but these are things that you should consider if you want to reduce engine bay temps. The first one is getting the Acuity reverse flow pipes. Now, like I said, it only improves the, marginally improves it, but these are all together something you should do. Finally, a big thing you can do to reduce temperatures is removing the air conditioning system. So this right here is the condenser. It sits in front of the radiator. The radiator sits right back there. Those are the radiator mounts. And if you remove this, it will definitely increase airflow and reduce the heat in your engine bay. However, I think I like my air conditioner. I'm going to be using this is a race car for all intents and purposes, but I also want to drive this around. It's going to be super fun to drive a race car around public roads, don't you guys think? So when it's hot out like this, like today, it's like 90 degrees, like almost 100% humidity. I'm sweating just talking to you guys. But if I was driving around, I'd want air conditioning. I made a mistake and I removed air conditioning in my Prelude. Big mistake, never doing that again. So I think I'm going to keep my condenser, but it is one thing that you can consider to reduce air temperatures. Alright guys, there it is. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was instructional to you. Again, all links are in the description for you guys to find out which products I use, from brake pads, tools, to radiator. Everything is down there in all my Type R videos. Again, if you liked the video, please go ahead and subscribe. It really helps me out. You guys don't understand how important that is. Like the video as well. Share it with your friends that like cars. That helps as well. It'll keep me doing these videos for you guys. I also have a BitChute channel, in case you guys are wondering. I'll put the BitChute channel down below. It's basically a mirror image of my YouTube channel. There's a couple of videos, new videos I post on there that I don't post on YouTube. For different reasons, you can go on BitChute.net or whatever. Go down to the description, click on the link down there, and if you want to take a look at my BitChute channel, there are BitChute exclusives right on there. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.